Today's show is how to professionalize your fitness business. Guys, the level of professionalism in the fitness industry is potentially lacking. As you say in the blog you've done about this, James, and we've probably had it said to us, is when are you going to get a real job? Because I think that's part of the problem with the fitness industry. People don't regard it, obviously people who are in it regard it as a real job, but people outside don't really regard it as a real job. Can you sort of talk, what exactly do we mean when we say how to professionalize your fitness business? Can we define it a little bit?
Well, I think we've all been there in terms of your parents, family, friends, even other people have asked you, when are you going to get a proper job? It was my granddad, my tide here in Welsh. It's the Welsh word for granddad. He kept, every time I see him, and it's been now for 15 years, every time I see him, he goes, when are you going to get a proper job? Like, I can't believe you left the police. When are you going to do a proper job?
I was going to say, well, perhaps it's because you did have a proper job in the police, and that then obviously you became a coach.
I know, and it's true because it's always something that's resonated with me. And then I had another conversation with a good friend of ours, you know him well, like Michael Kahn, quite a few years ago about this as well. And it's like really stuck home with me. It's like, well, the problem you have, and he is somebody who has run $1 billion company, right? That's the really most important thing I'm going to talk about here now. It's a huge company. And he said to me that it basically comes down to the fact that you need to professionalize your business. And it stuck home, it struck a chord with me. And he realized, yeah, actually, it's true. And then you look across the wider industry. And as personal trainers, they do it as hobbies. The average lifespan is 18 months. Why? Because they're doing it as hobbies. They're doing what they can, sending messages via their phone. They're having chats with people in coffee shops. There's no professionalism, and we are to blame, essentially, as an industry for this lack of professionalism and the way people perceive us, but it's not going to change anytime soon. So what we're trying to talk to is the few out there who do want to make a difference, who do want to professionalize their business, and these are the steps you go about doing it. And this is why we're thinking like this, because it's something that's really passionate to me, and I hate that. I hate it when people think, oh, you're just a personal trainer. I hate it. It really grates me beyond belief. But then the problem comes as well with other people who just they think any old fitness is good enough, but then they haven't been used to these types of services and this level of services we're trying to help them achieve and convey to them at the same time. So, Andrew, I don't know what you think, mate, but it's something that really grates on me when people say this to me.
It does, and look, as you say, we've all been there. It's my dad. I worked in offshore finance for years, and then I had this midlife crisis, as he called it, that I was playing around and acting as a I was into my early 30s then. When are you going to get another proper job? And that really hits you hard, and that's why we're recording this today to make guys realize that we can make this more than a hobby, and it is a professional industry. Well, it certainly should be, and want to outline the steps we feel that you should take to professionalize that business.
Do you think the lack of regulation in the industry is a problem? Because basically, any old person can call themselves a personal trainer. As we said off air, you can watch a couple of YouTube videos and decide that you're a personal trainer, and nobody is going to bat an eyelid. It's not like becoming a doctor or a physio or a chiropractor. Do you think that's part of the issue?
I think there's a big part of that. However, I think the bigger problem is the fact to do with the nature of fitness itself, because there's no one right way to do something. And I think in some of the other industries, like being a medical professional, chiropractor, physical therapist, there's set ways in treating and what you can and can't do. Whereas in fitness, the scope is such a big scope. There's to help somebody, say, lose weight, you can achieve that in so many different ways. And because of that, everyone likes to have their own personal opinion. And it's such a personal thing, health and fitness. So I think you're always going to struggle because people will always convey their opinions with you. And it's something you can hard to put your nail on it. So I think in terms of training, you're always going to struggle to professionalize it. I'd love to see it professionalized and that raise a higher standard, but you're not. But this is where it comes to the business side of things. Well, if you can't control the fitness side of things, you can actually control the way you portray your business in a professional manner and the way you conduct yourself as well, I think, and learn from the other industries.
So, then let's talk about it from a business perspective. How, framework-wise, how do people What are the first steps in professionalizing your fitness business?
Very easy. Stop messaging on WhatsApp. Stop messaging on Facebook. Stop using Instagram as your tool of choice. Stop using social media or anything, Facebook, anything like that as your way of connecting with people and messaging people. Does a professional business do that? No, absolutely not. Right? Do you expect a lawyer to do that? An accountant? No, you won't. They'd laugh at you if they thought they heard you doing that. So the simplest, easiest way is get a professional setup where people can communicate with you in a professional environment. That means email in a very simple way. Yes, you can get WhatsApp for business, but control it in one place, but have a system behind the scenes to help manage it. So you've got to start with the very basics. Where do people find you? Should be a website online. How do people communicate with you? They should be able to book an appointment with you, not just meet you any old time and chat about stuff. And then you set them a set of formal steps to take and go through before they can start working with you. And that's, to me, the simplest and best way to do it is professionalizing your business from top to bottom, and it starts with communication.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, they're all extremely important and valid points. And I guess the realization for me was that become proactive and start planning and put processes and systems in place, as opposed to being reactive. My God, I need clients now. What am I going to do? Let's throw enough whatever at the wall and hope something sticks. So taking that step back and planning and getting the right systems and processes and framework in place, as James says, making sure you've got the emails and building that list as one of your primary marketing strategies.
Yeah. What about things like core messaging and targeting, James?
Well, exactly. So this is the other thing. There's so many pieces to this. We can go on for hours and do a whole episode on this. But to keep it within like a short,
it's supposed to be a 10-minute podcast.
I know, exactly. So to keep it within a really short framework, again, we talk about this level of professionalism. Trainers need to know who they're working with and who they're trying to attract and who they're trying to repel. You want to act like a magnet. Be a magnet to those people who want to come and work with you. Therefore, you need to convey what your messaging is and make it clear, for example. So great examples, I think, Josh Hughes and Simon Bradbrook in the Black Belt Academy. They work with busy parents over 40 as a really good example. So they only want to work with busy parents over 40 because they're busy parents themselves. So the messaging is clear. There's pictures of themselves with their families and kids on the internet, showcasing that on their business because they want to attract like-minded people. Most trainers don't know who they're trying to attract. So in terms of core messaging and knowing who you're trying to attract ties into this whole professional thing where you don't go for everybody. If you go for everybody, you'll hit nothing. But try and focus in on who and narrow in who your avatar is and be specific and clear. Don't just say, I want to work with everybody. It just won't work. Be specific and clear. Attract the ones you want to attract and repel the ones you don't. It makes your life so much easier.
Yep, absolutely. And as I say, we could go so much in depth on this. This could be an hour-long podcast, but we are supposed to be keeping these a little shorter. So, Andrew, do you want to talk briefly about why it's important to have a sales framework in place as well?
Yeah, again, it's so that you're not winging it. You're coming across as the professional business owner that you aspire to be. And it just breeds confidence then from the potential client, from the prospect that you're meeting. It gives direction. So again, you're not just scribbled a few notes on a post-it note. You've got an actual sales process that you follow. We call it our strategy call. We have this initial 15-minute call where we're finding out a little bit about the potential client, what problems and challenges have been holding them back, what goals they're looking to set and achieve, and then looking to see whether they're a good fit for us, and equally, are we a good fit for them? And if they are, we can then take them to the next step of the procedure where we book them in for a longer consultation. We call that the discovery call. But that framework just makes it so much simpler to follow, and it gives confidence to the client in that you know what you're talking about. And when they've got that confidence, that's going to enable them to make a decision, that decision being to invest in the services that you're offering them.
And just to talk on that point, because this is the way you can frame it very differently. And this is what I see time and time again in the local gym in Cardiff here where I train. You see the way they talk to trainers talk to prospective clients. It's like, wow, what are you doing? Stop it. It looks so unprofessional. So I'll give you an example. If anybody asks me for services, let's take Cricket Matters, any cricket coaching or training in regards to cricket, and I know these people, even if I know them or they've come to me as a referral in person, the first thing I will do is, yeah, cool, we're happy to chat about this. Let's book in for a strategy call. That's it. So I send them a copy of my calendar link, which is what we set up for everybody behind the scenes here. And they book a time in when it's convenient for me and for them. So I refuse to talk about it with them there and then. I'll say, hey, cool, no worries at all. If you're going to talk about it more in depth, booking a call with me then, we'll go through it then. How about that? It's as simple as that. Just by doing that, even having just a simple calendar booking system to stop and delay people from wanting to go all about their problems with you right away is a way to professionalize your business so they start to respect your time. Because that's what it's all about, is you respecting your value and the knowledge that you have to help them with.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's quickly sum up the key takeaways. Is there anything we've missed out that you want to make a point of before we wrap this up?
I'd say literally, first things first, get a sales strategy in place, realize where you're trying to do, and then if you haven't got a website or professional email to communicate people in a professional manner, even a business phone number, which you can get fairly straightforwardly and easily these days, simple things like that make you stand out so professional. So just do that, you stand up above the rest.
That's the point, actually. Professional email. So we're not talking Hotmail, Gmail, anything like that, right?
No. Oh, no. Nothing screams so amateur than coachbreeze@gmail.com. Like, seriously, guys, if you listen to this, you have a little laugh about it. But if your email is ending like Coach Dave or Coach Breeze or Coach Josh @gmail.com, it's amateur. It really is. It really is amateur. So look, for £5 a month from Google, you can get your own professional email service and system. So I recommend you doing that.
Yeah. There we go. That's an important point to make, yeah.
And I would add to that and say that, look, you're not the star. You're not the hero of the story. They are. So make sure that your marketing conveys that. You're addressing them. You're highlighting the problems that they're facing, but equally you've got the solutions to help them. And the way to start that process is to book them into the strategy call. Don't use any marketing to talk about you all the time or the qualifications you got. That doesn't help. They're not interested in that. They just want to be sure that you're the right person to help them achieve their health and fitness goals.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. We have written a blog about this, which we will link to in the show notes. But that is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And if you want to find out what's holding you back from growing your fitness business, you can book in a free website audit by going to strengthmatters.com/audit.